Well, welcome back to the Kokino Podcast. Today I'm actually going to talk about something I did today instead of talking about my past like I usually do. I did something new and different today. Today I went out to a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, for the very first time all alone on my own. This is something that I've never done because usually whenever I go to a sit-down restaurant, I'm usually with at least my brothers or my mom or my dad or someone. Some kind of people are with me, but this time I went all on my own. The reason I went out because like there was only leftover food at home, and I didn't want to deal with the mediocrity of leftovers, so I just took the car and went. I actually was planning on going to Taco Bell, but last minute I decided, you know what? There's actually a sushi place that I've been meaning to check out because and the only reason I actually want to check out this sushi place, it's like right down the street, like a little 1 block further than the Taco Bell. And the only reason I wanted to check out this place was because I wanted to know if it had the sushi that I would want. Like I wanted to, for future reference, know if I could go to this sushi place if I was ever craving sushi. It's because there's only one particular sushi that I like. It's unagi. It's the one where they take an eel, a freshwater eel, and they fry it. Then they put it on the rice, and then they dump the most delicious sauce that was ever made, ever concocted in human history, called eel sauce. They dump it all over that. And then you eat it, and then it tastes delicious. And so I wanted to see if they had that. So I went over to the restaurant. The restaurant was situated in one of those fancy malls. I don't know. Like you have all the buildings. Like you have normally you have like a shopping center and a bunch of restaurants next to it and stuff. Normally it's just like kind of decrepit and old looking, but this was like a new chic looking place, a new chic looking mall with all like textured walls to everything, and it had like a theme kind of to it. So anyways, the sushi place was called the Sushi Wok, which means that it was actually not just a sushi place, it was a sushi and Chinese food place. You could get both sushi and Chinese food. So I walk into the place, and I am actually kind of really not that good at dealing with people because I am weird about protocol. If I don't know what the protocol is for something, like what you're supposed to do, like, when you walk into a restaurant, the normal protocol is that you're just supposed to wait in the little front section of the restaurant until the waiter comes up to you and then ushers you to some table or something, right? That's always the way that it's been. And if I ever break that protocol, everything feels awkward and weird, and I don't feel comfortable with myself and whatever. But for some reason or another, I broke that protocol. So I saw the waiter was looking at me, and it looked like she was about to start walking up to me. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to walk up to her. I'm just going to switch things up. This is so exciting. It's the most exciting podcast of all time. Just switch things up. I'm going to walk up to her. And then so I walked up to her. But, I had just the right amount of confidence, to be able to walk up to her. Immediately after I walked up to her, all the confidence disappeared, so I'm like stuttering and like an idiot, and then she says like, okay, is it just you alone? And then I go, yeah, just me. Like the fast speaking kind of stuttering weird thing that people do when they're awkward or whatever. And so she said, is it okay if you sit at the bar? I was like, yeah, sure. And so I went and sat at the bar. And then like She gave me a menu and stuff, and it was awkward. I don't know. It was just an awkward experience. Slightly awkward, not that awkward. I'm actually raising the energy of this podcast to make it more interesting because it was actually kind of boring, but it was a slightly awkward experience. Even being handed the menu felt awkward to me. It was just weird. And so then the guy from across the other end of the bar, he asked me what I would like. And I said that I would like the unagi. I actually looked at the menu before I said that. And then there was an awkward exchange between me and him. And he said unagi, and he said, do you want something? And I didn't understand what he said. So I just picked up the menu and pointed toward the unagi, which felt weird, and it felt like I was being like patronizing, and I didn't want to feel that way because I'm like a self-judgmental person when I haven't been when I'm in a new situation. That's just what happens. But I did it anyways, and I felt weird. But like he understood, so he just went and made it. And then there was like unagi. They did have unagi, so I'm glad that I went there because now I know that if I ever need sushi, I can go over there to get some unagi. Great. I got the unagi. Also first like the the waitress kind of slipped in, you want any drink? And I said, I want a Pepsi. I should not have asked for a Pepsi because this is going to cost extra money. I don't like spending money anyways. I was going to try to be as cheap as possible, get the cheapest slice of unagi that I could or whatever, just to be able to test it or something. But anyways, but she kind of slipped it in. It's like she kind of slipped it in, and I just slipped into my habit. Like, whenever I'm at a restaurant, I was just like, I'll just have Pepsi, I'll just have a Coke, whatever. What do you have? Just slipped into my automatic process, and so I had to order that Pepsi too. But anyways, he prepares the onagi really quickly, which is another great thing. Most sushi places that I've been to, they take forever to make the sushi. You know what? I have been to a total of like 3 or 4 sushi places, so I don't know if that's a norm or not. But there's this one sushi place back in Sacramento where I used to live. I forget what it was called, but it was a sushi place that had this gigantic fish tank in it that had like a gigantic fish swimming around in it. That's what I remember about it. And this sushi place, like, you would order the sushi and then it would take them like 15 minutes to prepare it. But no, at the sushi place that I went to here in good old Washington, it only took like 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes. And so he prepared the sushi, he handed it to me, I ate it, and then I just sat down because I don't know the exact protocol of things. Am I supposed to ask the waiter for the check? Am I supposed to wait for the waiter to ask me if I'm supposed to get the check? I don't know. So I just kind of sat there, kind of moping because I didn't really feel too hot. I felt kind of depressed. Or, I had the resting bitch face that everybody talks about, when you, if you don't know what the resting bitch face is, it's basically the normal face that you have when you're actually relaxing, but it looks like you're angry or it looks like you're depressed, but you're not really. You're just thinking about things, and the way that you look when you think about things is that you're depressed. So I had that face. So the waiter turned to me and said, is something wrong? Are you okay? Is everything good? And I was like, yeah, everything's good. Is everything good? Yeah, everything's fine. And she was like, are you done? Yes, I was done. And there was some confusion between the waitress, and the guy with the bar, because the guy over at the other end of the bar, who was the cook or whatever, he asked me if I was done, and I said yes. He asked me if he should go get the check or the receipt to the cash register. I said yes. And then the lady asked me, and then there was some confusion, and it felt awkward and weird, but it wasn't really that awkward. It was fine. But I have to tell some kind of story, whatever. Anyways, yeah, I got the receipt, and then it turned out that it was $12.86, and I had to add the tip because I disagree with the fact that in America we have to tip people, but I know that it's polite and right to tip people, even though, so I had to add $2 onto that tip. So I had to pay a whole $14 for this meal, which was really expensive. $14 can get you probably 40 chicken McNuggets. $14 can get you at least 3, maybe even 4 Mexican pizzas. $14 can get you so much stuff. And all I got was this plate of sushi that didn't even fill me up, even slightly. It was good sushi, but I just whatever. So, yeah, I finished that. And then, actually, before I got the receipt, I was drinking my drink, and I was wondering, I didn't really want to drink my Pepsi because I didn't even really want Pepsi. I just ordered it automatically, but I didn't want to waste it. So I spent the time there kind of feeling awkward and drinking my drink, because that's what I do. I just feel awkward when it feels like I'm doing the wrong thing. And I know that there was nothing wrong that I did in this situation. It just felt awkward. I guess maybe the first time going to a restaurant just makes you feel awkward a little bit inside. Anyways, after that, I went out. I left the place. They gave me the receipt book. Didn't quite know what the protocol. Are you just supposed to leave your credit card on there? Are you supposed to bring it up to the cash register? What are you supposed to do? I just left my credit card and waited, hoped, and thank goodness, it took 5 seconds for them to realize there was a credit card there, and they grabbed it and they checked it, and then they brought back the receipt where you sign your name and then you add how much tip you want. And then I didn't know if I was supposed to wait after I signed the receipt. You see, I'm so weird about protocol. I'm like a programmer. I know that I'm weird about rules. I'm very, very much embrace rules. I'm fine with rules, and I can deal with rules. So, in programming, if you don't close a bracket, then the program won't work. If you don't close a bracket in the right place, the program won't work. If you miss a semicolon in the wrong place, the program won't work. So I'm just thinking like a programmer, all right? Should I just sit down here and wait for them to come pick up the signed receipt? Well, I didn't want to wait any longer, so I just got up and brought the receipt to the cash register. It was all fine. There was nothing wrong with what happened. It just kind of felt awkward to me. I'm pretty sure it didn't feel awkward to them because they have experience dealing with customers. But anyways, that's the end of my story. This has been the Kokino Podcast. I hope you all have a great time doing whatever you're doing. I will see you next time.